Okay, we have yesterday finished chapter number 2. So today we have to start chapter number 3, the hat and the super glue. Okay, all of you open your books, chapter number 3 of Matilda, the hat and the super glue. And we are going to start it in a minute. The boys, keep your cameras on. Musaf, you also. In yesterday's chapter, we read about Mr. Wormwood, that how he treated his customers by mixing sawdust in the gearboxes and fiddling the numbers back using electric drill. Okay, and he only trusted his son and not his daughter, because for him reading is not essential. And similarly, Mrs. Wormwood is also not interested in like reading books or things like that. She was only interested in makeup and television. Okay, the hat and the super glue. The following morning, means the next morning, just before the father left for his beastly second-hand garage, Matilda slipped into the cloakroom and got hold of the hat he wore each day to work. She had to stand on her toes and reach up as high as she could with a walking stick in order to hook the hat off the peg. Peg is a kind of a rod on which you can put your cloaks or your coats or your warmers, your jackets. Okay. So what happened? The next morning, when Matilda's father went into the garage, Matilda went into the cloakroom where they were cloak and jackets were hanging and the hats were hanging, and she got hold because she was very small, very little, so she could not reach the hat which was hanging on the peg. So she used a walking stick to take the hat off the peg. The hat itself was one of those flat-topped pork pie jobs with the jay's feather stuck in the handbag. Okay, so it was like that sort of a hat which had a bird's feather in the band. And Mr. Wormwood was very proud of it. He thought it gave him a rakish. Rakish means dashing look. Means he looks very brave and very handsome in this hat, especially when he wore it at an angle with his loud checked jacket and green tie. You can well imagine his sense of maturity. Matilda, holding the hat in one hand and a thin tube of super glue in the other, proceeded. Proceeded means continued to squeeze a line of glue very neatly all round the inside rim of the hat. So what did Matilda do? She just took hold of a hat and she put super glue inside the hat. Okay, inside the rim means the edge of the hat. So that when Mr. Wormwood would wear the hat on his head, the super glue would stick to his head, to his hair. Then she carefully hooked the hat back onto the peg with the walking stick. She timed this operation very carefully, applying the glue just as her father was getting up from the breakfast table. Okay, now who will read from Mr. Wormwood didn't notice anything? Then I will explain it. Musaf. Okay, Musaf.
Mr. Wormwood didn't notice anything when he put the hat on, but when he arrived at the garage, he could get it off. Super glue is very powerful stuff, so powerful it will take your skin off if you pull too hard. Mr. Wormwood didn't want to be
Scarp.
scarred, so he had
What is
to
the
keep
meaning of scarp? Do you know, Musaf, what is the meaning of scarp? Like when your hair come off your head. Okay, without hair. So
scarred, so he had to
so
keep that on his head the whole day long, even when putting sawdust in gearboxes and fiddling the mileages of cars with his electric drill. In an effort to save face, he adopted a casual attitude, hoping that
casual
casual
attitude means normal attitude. Okay,
casual attitude, hoping that his staff would think that he actually meant to keep his hat on all day long just for the heck of it, like gangsters do in the films. When he got home, then
That
when
evening,
he got home that evening, he still couldn't get the hat off. Don't be silly, his wife said. Come here, I'll take it off for you. She gave the
okay,
hat.
till here first, let me explain. So, Mr. Wormwood, he didn't notice anything when he put the hat on, and as a result, when he put the hat on, the super glue stuck to his head and to his hair. And so, super glue is so much powerful that if you will try to pull it off, it will take your skin with it. So, Mr. Wormwood didn't want to be scarred, obviously, so he could not take the hat off his head, and he had to keep the hat on his head all the day in his office. And he pretended that his staff would not like laugh at him, and they would think that he is just wearing on a casual in a casual manner, just like that too. But when he got home, his wife said, "You're looking so silly, so I'll take it off for you." Continue.
Don't be silly, his
Yes.
wife said. Come
No,
here,
she.
I'll take.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
He
okay,
gave the
continue.
hat a sharp yank. Mr. Wormwood let out a yell that rattled the window panes. Ow! He screamed. Don't do that. Let go. You'll take half the skin off my forehead. Matilda, nestling in her usual chair, was watching this performance over the rim of her book with some interest. What's the matter,
Means
Daddy?
like edge, like you are okay. So what happened when Mrs. Wormwood tried? She gave a jerk. She gave a pull, and Mr. Wormwood gave out a loud shout. Okay. So he said to his wife, let me go, let me go. Don't take it off. Otherwise, you are going to take my skin off my forehead. So Matilda, she was watching Mr. Wormwood because she was the one who put it. So she asked her daddy, "Okay, daddy, what's the matter? Has your head suddenly swollen or something like that?" Okay, good, Musaf. Now, students, one question I want to ask you people. Did you get the dictation pages yesterday? Dictation chapters which I've sent in your homework? I have unmuted. Please reply to me.
Yes, teacher.
I have. Okay. Beta, yesterday I sent you the dictation chapters. Okay, 3 chapters are included. I think the paper
I
cranes of
didn't,
peace
teacher,
and
on
fire.
I
And
didn't get any discussion chapter.
I'm telling you. No, no, not dictation pattern, dictation chapters with the homework I have sent to you people. Have you received your homework, the homework which I have sent to you? That homework, where that is WhatsApp to you. There
Teacher,
are 3
on which
chapters. Note it
test
down. There are 3 chapters. The paper cranes of peace, fire, and what is the third chapter? Can anybody tell me what is the third chapter?
third chapter was
It slipped from my mind because I don't have my mobile phone right now so that I can check. The paper cranes of peace, fire, and one more chapter is in that diary. Okay, and dictation is on
How
Monday.
much land?
How much land does a man need? Okay, Muzammil, these are the 3 chapters, and you have to prepare. I can ask you words. I can ask the words to you people to write it down, and all of you, yes. Now what you have to do? You have to keep the pages with you. When I will dictate the words, you will write the words very neatly on the pages, and then your parents will WhatsApp the pages to school, and then I will check them. Do you understand? In this way, dictation
Yes.
will be taken. Now you understand? 3 chapters.
Yes.
I repeat it again. 3 chapters. Fire. How much land does a man need? And the paper cranes of peace. I can ask you. Basically, I'm going to give you the words. Okay, so I'll give you the words to write it down, and I will just dictate it, and you will write it down on a page, neat and tidy page. Use blue pen for writing. Give the heading. Before the class, you can give the heading like date, day, and heading, and your name. Okay, it is extremely important to write your name. You will write your name, okay, and date, heading, everything must be written. Okay, then I will just come and I will start dictating the words to you. Clear to you people? Okay, chale, let's continue. The father glared at his daughter with deep suspicion but said nothing. So the father, Mr. Wormwood, he looked at his daughter with suspicion. He was doubtful that he was thinking that she was the one who did it. How could he? Mrs. Wormwood said to him. It must be super glue. It couldn't be anything else. That will teach you to go playing around with nasty stuff like that. I expect you were trying to stick another feather in your hat. So Mrs. Wormwood said to her husband, Mr. Wormwood, that I think you must be playing with the super glue. You must be trying to fix another feather in your hat, and in doing so, you have done like that. I haven't touched the flaming stuff. What is the flaming stuff? Super glue, like burning stuff. He turned and looked again at Matilda, who looked back at him with large, innocent brown eyes. Mrs. Wormwood said to him, you should read the label on the tube before you start messing with dangerous products. Always follow the instructions on the label. Now, Mrs. Wormwood is continuously telling her husband that he might have been like trying to fix a feather in his hat, and in doing so, he put the super glue in his hat, and that super glue now has stuck to his head. Okay, so she tells him that you need to follow the instructions on the label. It's a very dangerous product. Now, who wants to read? Who wants to read? Okay, Muzammil.
What in heaven's name are you talking about, you stupid witch? Mr. Wormwood shouted, clutching the brim of his hat to stop anyone trying to pull it off again. Do you think I'm so stupid I glue this thing to my head on purpose? Matilda said, there is a boy down the road who got some super glue on his finger without knowing and he put his finger into his nose. Mr. Wormwood jumped. What happened to him? He spluttered. The finger got stuck inside his nose, Matilda said. And he had to go like that for a week. People kept saying to him, stop licking your nose. And he couldn't do anything about it. He looked an awful fool. Serve him right, Mrs. Wormwood said. He shouldn't have put his finger up in there in the first place. It's a nasty habit. If all the children had super glue put on their fingers, they'd soon stop doing it. Matilda said, grown up do it too, Mummy. I saw you doing it yesterday in the kitchen. That's quite enough from you, Mrs. Wormwood said, turning pink. Mr. Wormwood
Okay,
had
Muzammil.
to...
Okay, good. Now, students, Matilda just was telling about an incident of a boy who put super glue. She was just making up a story that was not real. She was just making up a story that there was a boy down the road who got some super glue and he was picking his nose and his fingers stuck inside his nose and things like that. So that was a disgusting thing to do so. Okay, now who will read from here? Okay. Yes, Kinza, start reading. Kinza, unmute your mic. I have unmuted you. From here, Mr. Wormwood had to keep his hat on all through supper.
Mr. Wormwood had to keep his hat on all through supper in front of the television. He looked ridiculous and he stayed very silent. When he
Wait a second. Tabeen, it's chapter number 3. Okay? And on just turn your book, turn your page, is chapter number 3, and I think page 3 of chapter number 3. Okay? Yes, continue, beta.
When he went up to bed, he tried again to get the thing off, and so did his wife, but it wouldn't budge. How am I going to have my shower? He demanded. You'll just have to do without it, won't you? His wife told him, and later on
Yes,
she
Matilda.
has
Continue, beta,
watched
continue.
her skinny little husband skulking around the bedroom in his purple striped pajamas with a pork pie hat on his head. She thought how stupid he looked. Hardly the kind of man a wife dreams about, she told herself. Mr.
Okay,
Wormwood is
Peter, 1 second. So Mr. Wormwood, he couldn't take his hat off his head, so he had to keep his hat on all through supper and even in front of the television. He was looking so funny and so stupid, but he remained silent. And then when he went up to his bed, he tried again to get the thing off because he wanted to take shower, but he couldn't take it without his hat. So his wife told him that you have to do it without it. Then his wife kept on watching her husband roaming around the bedroom, okay? And she thought that he was looking so much stupid in his pajamas with a hat on his head. Yes, continue. Yes. Okay, now, Khatija, you can read it.
Mr. Wormwood discovered that the worst thing about having a permanent hat on his head was having to sleep in it. It was impossible to lie comfortably on the pillow. Now do stop fussing around, his wife said to him after he had been I expect it
Closing.
to closing and turning for about an hour. I expect it will be
There's some problem, I think, with your mic. Okay, please adjust it. Yes, you can continue, Roma. Sabine, turn on your video. Ali Hassan, turn on your video.
Mr. Wormwood is but it wasn't loose by the morning and it wouldn't slip off. So Mr. Wormwood took a pair of scissors and cut it clean off his head. But bit by bit, first the top of and then the brim.
Grim.
When the brim, where the inner band had to stuck to the hair, all around the sides and back. He had to chop the hair off right to the skin, so that he finished up with a blade, white
Ball,
ring,
white ring.
long
Round
white
his
ring round his head, like some sort of a
monk. Okay, Beta. Please be careful that there should be no noise at your back. You need to sit in a quiet room, okay? Okay, everybody. It's extremely important. Okay, now I will read till here. So Mr. Wormwood discovered that the worst thing about having a permanent hat on his head was having to sleep in it. Obviously, nobody can sleep having a hat on his or her head. It was impossible to lie comfortably on the pillow. Now do stop fussing around, his wife said to him after he had been tossing and turning for about an hour. I expect it will be loose by the morning and then I'll slip off easily. So his wife said to him that stop fussing and just go to sleep, and in the morning it will become loose and then it will come off. But it wasn't loose by the morning and it wouldn't slip off. So Mrs. Wormwood took a pair of scissors and cut the thing off his head. So now the only option left to them was to use a scissor. Bit by bit, first the top and then the brim. Brim is the edge where the super glue was put. Where the inner band had stuck to the hair all around the sides and back, she had to chop the hair, chop means cut, the hair off right to the skin so that he finished up with a walled white ring round his head like some sort of a monk. Monk students, I've told you, cleaning lady to leading lady, religious person who works in a church, okay? So she tried to cut the hat bit by bit, one by one, and then only some part of hair were remain on his head, and he was just looking like a monk. And in the front, where the band had stuck directly to the bear's skin, there remained a whole lot of small patches of brown leathery stuff that no amount of washing would get off. At breakfast, Matilda said to him, "You must try to get those bits off your forehead. Daddy, it looks as though you have got little brown insects crawling about all over you. People will think you have got lice." Okay? So Matilda made fun of her father. She said that you need to get these brown insects, these patches of hair cut off your head, because they are just looking like insects crawling on your head, and people will think you have got lice. All of you know what is lice? The sort of insects which grow in your hair. "Be quiet," the father snapped. "Just keep your nasty mouth shut, will you?" All in all, it was a most satisfactory exercise, but it was surely too much to hope that it had taught the father a permanent lesson. The Ghost. Now, who will read it? Beta, once again, I'm going to repeat the dictation chapters. Three chapters are included: fire, and you have to prepare the whole chapter. I will ask any word. Okay, I will ask you to write down any word. Fire, the paper cranes of peace, and how much land does a man need? And you need to have neat pages with you. Got it? Okay, and the dictation is on Monday. Dictation is on Monday. Okay, yes, Mariam. Yes, Mariam, I have unmuted you. Unmute your mic, beta. Yes, start reading The Ghost.
Calm in the Wormwood household for about a week after the Superglue episode. The experience had clearly is
Had clearly chastened Mr. Wormwood
Mr. Wormwood and his team
temporarily, lost his taste
have lost his taste for beauty and bullying.
bullying.
Then suddenly he struck again. Perhaps he had had a bad day at the garage and had not sold enough promising handcards. There are many things that make a man irritable when he arrives home from work in the evening, and a sensible wife will usually notice his storm singles and will leave him alone until he simmers down. When Mr. Wormwood arrived back from his garage that evening, his face was as dark as a thundercloud, and somebody was clearly for the high jump pretty soon. His wife recognized the signs immediately and made herself scarce. He then
Strode
into the living room. Matilda happened to be curled up in an arm in the corner, totally absorbed in a book. Mr. Wormwood switched on the television. The screen lit up. The program blared. Mr. Wormwood glared at Matilda. She hadn't moved. She had somehow trained herself by now to block her ears to the ghastly
ghastly
sound of the
dreaded box.
ghastly of the dreaded box. She kept right on reading, and for some reason, his
Infuriated
infuriated
the father.
father. Perhaps his anger was intensified because he saw her getting
Okay. Okay, now Kinza dictation is on this coming Monday. Okay, like today is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have 2 days to prepare for the dictation. Tahir dictation chapters, I've repeated it. There are 3 chapters which I've sent in the homework as well yesterday. Muzammil, once I'll ask you. 3 chapters: fire, how much land does a man need, and the paper cranes of peace. Got it? Even if you have any question or any problem, you can ask me again. Okay? Yes, Muzammil, what do you want to ask? Yes, Muzammil, I've unmuted you.
टीचर टीचर, ये जो आप जिन लोगों से रीडिंग करवा रही हैं इन्हें कहें कि ये थोड़ा ऊंचा पढ़ें टीचर, इनकी आवाज बिल्कुल भी नहीं आ रही।
Muzammil, there's some problem with the mics maybe. You have the book with you, na? I'm going to explain it, okay? Just keep the book with you. Now, students, I'm going to repeat it again. The ghost. There was comparative calm in the Wormwood household for about a week after the super glue episode. The experience had clearly chastened Mr. Wormwood, and he seemed temporarily to have lost his taste for boosting and bullying. For a week, Mr. Wormwood remained calm after the super glue experience with him, and he stopped bullying and boosting. Bullying, all of you, boosting I've told you yesterday. And bullying means to use your power on some weaker person, like always threatening some weaker person. Then suddenly he struck again. Now suddenly another time came when he was struck again. What happened? Perhaps he had a bad day at the garage and had not sold enough crummy second-hand cars. There are many things that make a man irritable when he arrives home from work in the evening, and a sensible wife will usually notice the storm signals and will leave him alone until he simmers down. Simmers down means calms down. Calm down. Okay? Calm down. So what happened? Something bad happened at the garage because when Mr. Wormwood came home, he was in a bad temper. So Mrs. Wormwood didn't want to disturb her husband, so she left him alone. When Mr. Wormwood arrived back from the garage that evening, his face was as dark as a thundercloud. When your face is as dark as a thundercloud, it means that you are about to explode. Okay? And somebody was clearly for the high jump pretty soon. Means on somebody his anger is going to fall. His wife recognized the signs immediately and made herself scarce. Scarce means hardly visible. So she disappeared from his side because she understood that her husband was not in a good mood, and so she slipped from there. He then strode into the living room. Strode means walked. So he went into the living room. He happened to be curled up in an armchair in the corner, totally absorbed in a book. Mr. Wormwood switched on the television. The screen lit up. The program blared. So Matilda, she was sitting in an armchair and she was reading a book when Mr. Wormwood stepped into the living room and he turned on the television. The program started and it was making a lot of noise because they were fond of listening TV or watching television at a loud volume. Mr. Wormwood glared at Matilda. Glared means to look at. She hadn't moved. She had somehow trained herself by now to block her ears to the ghastly. Ghastly means unpleasant. Ghastly means unpleasant. Sound of the dreaded box. What is the dreaded box here? The television. She kept right on reading, and for some reason this infuriated. Infuriated means to make somebody angry. Remember the Chinese conjurer which we have read? Infuriated, to make somebody angry. So Matilda didn't move from the living room. She kept sitting in the armchair reading her book, and this made her father angry, angrier. Perhaps his anger was intensified. Intensified means increased, because he saw her getting pleasure from something that was beyond his reach. Don't you ever stop reading? He snapped at her, like he just shouted at her. Don't you ever stop reading? Oh, hello, Daddy, she said pleasantly. Did you have a good day? What is this trash? He said, snatching the book from her hands. It isn't trash, Daddy. It's lovely. It's called The Red Pony. It's by John Steinbeck, an American writer. Why don't you try it? You'll love it. Filth. Filth means like rubbish, Mr. Wormwood said. If it's by an American, it's certain to be filth. That's all right about. So Matilda said that it's not, Daddy, it's just a book. It's not trash. And the name of the book is The Red Pony by John Steinbeck, and he's an American writer. So Mr. Worms shouted and said that then it must a filth. It must be rubbish because Americans write only rubbish. Now who will read it? Kinza, you must have, all of you please listen again. All of you need pages, okay? On the pages, you are going to write your name and date and day and dictation, and it is compulsory that your name must be written, so that when I'm going to check them and I'm going to give the winner's name, then I must be sure enough that you have written your names. Okay, I will dictate the words and you people are going to write them down on the pages very neatly, and then your parents will WhatsApp to us. Okay, do you understand? But please be honest. Okay, now who wants to read? Yes, Tahir. Tahir, turn on your camera.
Teacher, my
Yes.
camera is not working properly. So if I turn
Okay.
on my camera, the voice is not coming properly. That's why I off my
Okay.
camera.
ठीक है. But fix it. Okay, fix it. Yes, start.
Okay, teacher.
I don't want to know from here.
When Mr. Wormwood arrived back from the garage, the tape.
Wait, it's Tahir, can you see the screen? Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Wait, it's from here. I don't want to know what it's about, Mr. Wormwood barked. I'm fed up with your reading anyway. Okay, from here. Who knows? Okay. Tahir, you find the page. Yes, Kaleem.
I don't.
And better make sure that your mics must be proper, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Yes.
I don't want to know what it's about. Mr. Wormwood barked. I am fed up with your reading anyway. Go and find something useful to do. With frightening suddenness, he now began ripping and
Suddenness.
pages out of the book in handfuls and began ripping the pages out of the book in handfuls and throwing them in the waste paper basket. Matilda froze in horror.
Horror.
The father kept going. There seemed little doubt that the man felt some kind of jealousy. How dare she? He seemed to be saying with each rip of a page. How dare she enjoy reading books when he couldn't? How dare she? That's a library book. Matilda cried. It doesn't belong to me. I have returned it to Mrs.
Phelps.
Then you will have to buy another one, won't you? The father said, still tearing out pages. You'll have to save your pocket money until there's enough in the kitty to buy a new for your precious Mrs. Phelps. Won't you? With that, he drove the now empty covers of the book into the basket and marched out of the room, leaving the telly blaring.
Okay, good, Kaleem. Okay. So what happened now from here? So Mr. Wormwood was extremely angry. So he said that I don't want to know what it is about. Now go away from here and do something else. But then what did he begin to do? He took the book from Matilda's hand and began to tear the pages one by one, bit by bit into the waste paper basket. Matilda was extremely scared because it was a library book and she had to return it to Mrs. Phelps. But her father didn't listen to her and her father kept going. He seemed to tear the whole pages and threw them in the basket, waste paper basket. Okay? He was angry at his daughter for reading books. Just imagine what kind of father he was. Then he said that that's a library book, and Matilda cried that it doesn't belong to me. I have to return to Mrs. Phelps. He said that now go and buy another one, and then you can give the book with your pocket money, and then you can return the book to your to Mrs. Phelps. Okay, then he left the room. Yes. Who will read now? From girls' side? Yes, Nihal. Nihal, unmute your mic. Yes. Okay, Tahir, you can read. Tahir?
Yes, teacher.
Now,
Yes.
most children.
Most children in Matilda's place would have burst
Matilda's
into
place.
floods of tears. She didn't do this. Burst into floods of
She
tears.
sat there.
She didn't do this. She sat there very still and white and thoughtful. She seemed to know that neither crying or sulking ever anyone
ever.
anywhere. The only sensible thing to do when
Sensible
you are
thing.
attacked is, as Napoleon once said,
Napoleon was
to counter attack
attack.
Matilda's wonderfully subtle mind was already at work devising yet another suitable punishment for the poisonous parent. The plan was now beginning to hatch in her mind, depended, however, upon whether or not Fred Parrot was really as good a talker as Fred made out.
Okay, first let me
That
explain till here. Tahir, wait. Let me explain till here, then you can continue. Okay. So most children in Matilda's place would have burst into floods of tears. So obviously Matilda was a little girl, and if someone's book is torn in front of his or her eyes, they will start crying. But she didn't do this. She remained quiet, still, and thoughtful. She kept on thinking. She didn't want to cry. She wanted to teach another lesson to her father. Okay. So because the only thing she remembered that Napoleon once said, that counterattack, to attack that person who has hurt you or who's attacked you. So his mind started working on that plan, and she started thinking. So she thought about a suitable punishment for the poisonous parent. Who is the poisonous parent? Mr. Wormwood. And now the plan depended, or the plan was dependent on Fred's parrot, because Fred's parrot was a great talker. Okay, it was a talking parrot. So Fred was a friend of Matilda's. He was a small boy of 6 who lived just around the corner from her, and for days he had been going on about his great talking parrot his father had given him. He had been telling his friends that he had a great parrot, and he kept talking about that parrot. Okay, who will continue from here? Yes, Nihal. Nihal, I have unmuted you. Okay, beta. We will do it tomorrow, not tomorrow, inshallah. Next Monday, after the dictation. Okay. Now, I have also given you tenses test. Remember, we have done tenses, all the tenses, the 12 tenses. Present tense, past tense, future tense. Okay. So, I am going to, like, on the screen, you will see the test papers. Okay. You are just going to write the answers. Either it will be in written form or it will be verbal. I will write your names, and then I'm going to ask you the definitions. And if you tell me the right definition, then I'm going to give you the marks. But beta, you need to be very honest. Okay? It doesn't mean that you have kept